So as I'm recording this, it's the 5th of February, and today I decided to hang out at my buddy Ixu's house. Well, we didn't hang out inside his house, you see. Funny story, he called me out of the blue because he actually like locked himself out of his house. So he called me and he's like, hey dude, I kind of locked myself out of my house. Do you want to hang out outside my house? So, you know, I hung out with him and, you know, we had a good old gay time, you know what I'm saying? And that was a joke, by the way. Like, I'm not a homo segue, but I don't have any problems with people who do identify as homo segues. So anyway, that's besides the point, right? That's not part of the main story. I just decided to put that little thing in there because it took place on the same day of something that happened a little while after that. So after we finished hanging out today, I took the train to Guildford, and so as I'm walking home, I like walk by this house. I think there were like 2 or 3 girls like standing in front of their door. They were like talking. I think it was either 2 or 3, I don't really remember. So as I walk by this house, one of them was like, this impression is gonna sound autistic as fuck. It's autistic, but this is just me trying to replicate the exact tone of how they said it. So just brace yourself. Like, this impression is gonna be so fucking cringy. Like, you should get that fucking hazmat suit that H3 wore when he was like preparing for the fucking cringe. So as I walk by the house, one of the girls was like, hi. At first, I didn't even know they were like talking to me because I was just like a random guy just walking past the house. I just assumed that she was like talking to like her friend or something. It's kind of like a natural instinct when, you know, you hear a sound, you just look at it. So I kind of like glanced at their house like as I walked by the house. And so what confirmed the fact that they were indeed talking to me, one of them waved to me. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, okay, so she is talking to me. I didn't say a word. I just smiled and waved like as I walked by. I swear, I wish I had like a fucking picture or something of my facial expression when I realized, you know, they were talking to me. So I was smiling because I wanted to be polite, right? But then I also became confused, so my facial expression, it kind of became like a confused smiling face, because it's like, who the fuck does that? Now to the average normie, you know, this might seem like, oh dude, you're fucking gay. You know, some people might say that, you know, you're blowing this out of proportion, you don't need to make an entire fucking video about it, which I do agree to a certain extent. But if you're like an attention-starved incel, then, you know, it's the little interactions that blow people's minds, or rather incels' minds, or just any male in general who has like a low SMV, just like low tier males in general. What the fuck is wrong with her? Like, who does she think she is, politely saying hi to a random pedestrian? You know, it's funny because like those girls have no idea that I just walked home and just made an entire fucking video about them. All jokes aside, you know, oh, haha, what a Chad. Girls said hi to them. Ha 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 ha. You know, I get it. You know, all memes aside, they were probably just being polite. You know, it's funny because this is like the 3rd time that this has actually happened. And I'm only talking about the 3rd one first because, you know, it happened to me today. And actually, I think the 2nd one, it might have been the same house as the 3rd one, which is, you know, the house that I just told you about. So from now on, let's just talk about it in like a chronological order. And this all happened on the same fucking street, by the way. Like, I would say, oh, if you live in Guildford, you should walk past this certain street, and then girls will say hi to you, but you know, ooh, doxed. I'm sorry, but I respect people's privacies. Okay, so house number 1. Now, this didn't happen today. This happened like last year. Man, I can't believe it's 2020 already, man. And it actually happened like after I hung out with one of my incel buddies, Gold. So I'm walking home and I walk past this house. This is house number 1. It had like a group of girls, so definitely more than 3. I walked past them and they said hi to me. So because of the hello was so unexpected, like I just blurted the first thing that came out of my mouth. Now granted, it's not super autistic. Some people might be cool with it, but I personally felt that it was autistic. So the first thing that I blurted out was like, what's up, man? It's literally in that tone. The reason why I think, you know, saying what's up, man was a bit autistic, because, you know, I don't really call Floyd's man. Like, a quote like what's up, man is something that I would say to like Ixu or something, like, you know, one of my homies. So usually, you know, I would shake off an interaction like this, and I did until house number 2 happened. Okay, and like I said, I think house number 2, it might have been the same as house number 3. I'm not 100% sure, because you have to remember, you know, all of these houses, it literally took place on the same street. So I do have reason to believe that house number 2 and house number 3 are the same thing. So anyway, so I walked past house house number 2. The woman who said hi to me was this woman who was like sitting on like the front porch area, and she was like sitting on a chair or something, or like a couch or some shit. So as I walked past the house, you know, she says hi to me. And just like house number 3, I wasn't sure if this woman was referring to me. So I tilt my head, and sure enough, she's looking at me. We're making eye contact. I didn't think she waved like house number 3, but just the fact that like we made eye contact with each other, you know, that confirmed it for me that like, oh yeah, she's fucking referring to me. And again, just like house number 3, I just smiled and waved. Or maybe I didn't smile, I don't remember. This took place like a while ago, so I don't really remember. Unlike house number 3, which happened today. And keep in mind, house number 1 and house number 2 happened on the same fucking day. And it's like, damn, what the hell happened to Guildford? Why is everyone so friendly all of a sudden? I thought Guildford was filled with people, you know, you know how Guildford is like, you know, those fucking wogs, you know, revving their cars like vroom, vroom, and then like those fucking faggy high school kids who make like fucking motorcycle sounds with their mouths, like fucking Westies. That's the Guildford I know. So I was really shocked by the fact that house number 1 and house number 2 occurred on the same day. So I pulled out my phone, called Gold, and I basically told him the story of house 1 and 2. I was telling him about how like, you know, what are the odds of being greeted not once but twice? What a fucking friendly street. Now that I think about it, this would be a pretty cool series idea. Like, how about we call this series idea Strangers and Freaks, like GTA 5. So maybe I should make like a sort of a series kind of like that, where it's called Strangers and Freaks. The Foy that said hello to me when I walked by her house. And in a way, you know that video that I made about that homeless woman? You know, in a way, that was kind of like a Strangers and Freaks episode. So I was kind of already making, you know, these kinds of videos without even knowing it. So yeah, that would be a pretty cool video idea, or series idea rather. I just don't have that many, you know, crazy interactions with people. I mean, I did have strangers interact with me recently on Australia Day, but you know, I wouldn't really put them in the category of strangers and freaks, because you know, they didn't really do anything wrong. I wouldn't really consider them freaks, and it's not really worth making an entire video about, but it was pretty nice, that interaction. Like, in short, you know, it was like at the end of Australia Day, it's like nighttime, everyone's like taking the train home. Actually, on Australia Day, I was actually like near the Opera House, and you know, I was watching, you know, the fireworks and like that big ass TV that they were streaming live. So, you know, on the train, you know, back home, you know, I'm just standing on the train just chilling, and these two middle-aged women complimented my outfit. Like, I remember she was like, oh, but that's a fabulous outfit, and I'm like, oh, thank you. And what was this outfit in question? Well, I'll show you right now. This shirt, this hat, these shorts, these slippers, and this bag. And like, I always wear that 99% of the time, like when I go out, like even while hanging out with my friends. It's like my default outfit, as Ursula would say. Well, except the hat though. The hat is like a pretty new addition to my fucking Mecca hangout suit. I actually bought that hat on New Year's Eve. Like, I was hanging out with Conker and Parramatta, and like we were like hanging out in shops and stuff, and we saw these hats, and I was like, you know, I've been meaning to buy these hats for a while now. I'm gonna buy that hat. So yeah, as those two women got off the train, one of them was like, oh, happy Australia Day, and I'm like, thanks, you too. That's a pretty nice interaction. It really goes to show that not everyone is an asshole like house number 3. I mean, who the fuck says hello to someone politely? I mean, what kind of fucking asshole does that? But you know, anyway, thank you for watching my gay video. I forgot to do a snappy intro, so I want to do it now at the end, so even though that doesn't make any sense. Yo, what's up, faggots? It's Frankie's Pizza.